There's an easy and effective way to fast, and you shall learn that on today's episode of the show. Hi Saints, my name is Marianne Ushi and this is Catholic Faith Forum. Our topic for today is finding it hard to fast. What do I do? And I have just the right guest to discuss this topic and enlighten us all. Mariana is also on standby to tell us about the life of Saint Philan, and Elefachi, our Know Your Faith presenter, is on standby to educate us on the facts about the 9 choirs of angels. So it's a packed episode. You don't want to miss it. Let's go on a short break. I'll be right back. Fasting is abstinence from food or drink for various reasons, ranging from health, ritualistic, spiritual, or even ethical purposes. But people find it hard to fast for various reasons. It could just be for the love of food and the inability to look the other way when that hot, steamy plate of party jollof passes you by, or not just having enough strength to see your fasting period through. Welcome back, Saints. This is Catholic Faith Forum, and I am Marianne Ushi. I have 2 amazing guests with me here to discuss the topic, finding it hard to fast. What do I do? My first guest is Mrs. Sherese Ijewere. Thank you so much for joining me, Ma.
Thank you for having me.
And I also have with me Mr. Gregory Idu. Hi, Greg.
Hi.
Okay, so Mrs. Sherese is the founder CEO of Carib Health Limited, a health, wellness, and nutrition company in Ikoyi, Lagos. She's a professional consultant in the field of nutrition. She graduated from the University of South Florida and is clinically trained, plus 18 years experience and practice in medical nutrition therapies. She has multiple certifications. She hails from Jamaica and is blessed with a wonderful Nigerian husband and 4 loving children. Wonderful profile, I must say. Nice to have you here, Ma.
Thank you very much.
And I also have with me Greg, who is a finance professional with years of expertise in treasury and investment operations in the Nigerian banking sector. He's a budding apologist in Catholic theology and a devout member of the Catholic Charismatic Renewal of Nigeria, where he has served in the teaching ministry for over a decade. Wisdom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both for joining me. So let's get right into the topic because we have a lot to discuss today. We're discussing finding it hard to fast. What do I do? So my first question is that fasting is a common practice amongst Christians or even Muslims fast in Nigeria. It's a common practice for religious traditions, but it can be quite challenging. A lot of people find it difficult to see their fasting periods through. Some people find it difficult to even start fasting. Why exactly is fasting an important Christian practice?
All right, thanks so much. The practice of fasting has been a long-standing one, and it dates back to the ancient Jewish times. At the time, people were going to fast for several reasons. It could be that they wanted to atone for their sins. So by way of repentance, so fasting was a requirement. Or you can say that fasting was a way of seeking divine intervention over a particular matter. And we can have, varied reasons why people would go on fast. And then there were also some extra religious reasons why people would fast. For example, if someone had died, so a way of showing respect or a way of mourning the person was also to embark on a fast. But beyond that, within the Christian context, fasting, primarily a genuine fast in that sense, should leave you with a strengthened relationship with God. So if there is anything whatsoever that fasting should do in your life beyond whatever reasons that you are embarking on a fast, fasting should deepen your relationship with God. So that is, for me, what is very fundamental. Whether you are seeking a miracle from God or you're embarking on whatever purpose as a result of your fasting, the fundamental thing that should be very key as you embark on that fast is that your relationship with God should be strengthened.
Okay. But from a health standpoint now, are there any special benefits to fasting? I mean, why should I stay away from food? Do I have anything to gain?
Yes, there are many benefits. One is resetting your immune system. And in resetting your immune system, it improves your health, it makes you feel good, it helps to cleanse the old cells, regenerate new cells, it reduces your blood pressure, reduces your blood sugar, and if you're overweight, it helps you to lose weight as well. It also improves your memory, your cognitive balance. It improves overall, very good for the body.
Okay, nice facts. But then why do people then find it health-wise now? Why do they find it difficult to fast? Because you have people who fast and then they suddenly fall sick, or they're not able to think well. For example, if I don't eat for a certain period of time, it's like I can't work again. But then you mentioned that it helps with your cognizance and everything. So why the differences?
So when you're fasting, you want to have a plan.
Okay.
So if you have a plan, your mindset is in the right mode. And when I say plan, this means you're easing yourself into that fast. It could be for a couple hours before you actually go into the main fast. Knowing how many days you're going to fast, what you're going to break your fast with, making sure that you're drinking water, because water is essential for the body during your fasting.
Okay, so it's about taking the right precautions when fasting. Okay, so is there a Catholic way to fast, Greg?
Okay, so so the church has a couple of magisterial positions in terms of fasting. Overall, maybe I should come from a broader Christian perspective. So people fast for a lot of reasons, and a lot of times we get carried away by the actual fast without paying attention to whether or not our relationship is being strengthened. So in that sense, the Catholic way to fast, as recommended by the church's magisterium, is that when you're fasting, there has to be some form of prayer and devotion to God, and then almsgiving. So in doing that, you're not just, we've seen people who say they're fasting and then they get distracted by other activities. So there is no, concretized plan to actually pray, and then there is no plan to maybe do some almsgiving. So the Catholic way to fast really has to do with carving out time to ensure that moment of devotion with God, and then doing some form of works of charity. So that is broadly the Catholic way of fasting.
Okay, nice. I'm going to add to that, but that will be right after this break. It's time for us to find out about our saint of the week. So over to you, Mariana.
Our saint of the week is Saint Philan. Saint Philan was a 7th century Irish monk renowned for his missionary work in Scotland. Born in Ireland to a noble family and was deeply committed to monastic life from an early age, small picking like that too. Philan journeyed to Scotland, where he became an abbot of the monastery at Pittenweem in Fife. Known for his austere lifestyle and miraculous acts, a famous legend recounts how his left arm emitted light, allowing him to read and write scriptures in the dark. Let me look at my room. There's no light. Later, he moved to Glendochart and Stratphilan in Perthshire, founding a church and a holy well believed to possess healing properties, which attracted many pilgrims. Another legend tells of Philan taming a wolf that had killed an ox, underscoring his sanctity and harmony with nature. Oh, wow. Saint Philan died around 703 AD, and his relics, including his staff and bell, became highly venerated. His legacy endures with his feast day celebrated on the 9th of January, commemorating his contributions to Christianity and the enduring miracles associated with his life. Saint Philan is known to be the patron saint of the mentally ill. Saint Philan, pray for us.
Thank you very much for that session, Mariana. Wow, lovely story there about Saint Philan. Okay, back to our conversation. Before the break, I was talking about the Catholic way to fast, and you mentioned that we have to pair it with almsgiving and prayer. So, during Lent, they also advise us that when we're fasting, we should take one full meal and then two smaller meals. So I think, and then the money that you get that you would have spent on those other two large meals, you give them to the poor. So that also ties it to almsgiving, and of course prayer. So you talked about drinking water when fasting. Now I know some people engage in dry fasting where they cannot take anything at all. So are there different types of fasting, especially the one that could probably allow us drink water?
Yes, different types of fasting. One is, as you mentioned, the dry fast. There is also the Daniel fast. Daniel from the book of Daniel. So Daniel fast, you're taking fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, nothing processed. You're avoiding meat. You're avoiding all dairy, all animal products. It's really a strict fast, the Daniel fasting. Then there is also a fast called the OMAD fast. That's the 1 meal a day fast.
Oh, OMAD.
Yes. Then you also have juicing. So you can go on a juice fast where you're just drinking juices for the time that you're fasting. You can also do intermittent fasting. And that's a popular one that many people use.
Practice, yes.
Yes. So intermittent fasting is where you're fasting for 16 hours and you may eat for 8 hours. Or you're fasting 20 hours and you may only eat in a 4-hour window. So with these fasts, it's good that you are consistent. You're certainly taking your water. As I mentioned, that's very essential.
So are you taking the water during the fasting period
during
or
the fasting
after?
period?
Also during the so I fast 12 hours really. Once it's 12 o'clock, anything beyond that is a stretch for me. So are you saying that even within that 12 hours, I can drink water?
Yes, absolutely. The body needs water to just push out those toxins, tear down old cells.
Okay, so are there rules to fasting? What should we do? What should we not do in order to see our fasting period through from the spiritual and the health sides?
Okay, so embarking on a fast, personally, I try to first of all define the purpose of the fast. So in defining the purpose, I want to, at the end of the fast, measure if I'm able to, achieve the objective of the fast. For example, maybe my objective is to have a deeper understanding of the scriptures. Because it is God that gives wisdom. So I open my Bible. I want to be able to grasp what the Bible is saying without having to stay for a longer period of time. So that's a prayer point that I might have in mind. So I want to embark on. So I'm saying that every fast should have an object of a purpose. Now, in doing that also, one of the things you also want to do when you want to embark on a fast is to plan your fast. So how many days are you going on? What is the mode of abstinence? Am I doing fruit fasting, just like she said? Am I just doing water? Am I doing just, 1 meal per day, and so on and so forth? So I need to define also the mode of abstinence, and then again, have my plan for spiritual engagement. So am I going for Mass every 6 p.m.? Am I saying my rosary? Am I visiting the Blessed Sacrament? So all of those things have to be in place. That is part of the planning. Another thing is that in doing your fast, you need to be sure that you are in that sober moment, because fasting should allow for sobriety. It should allow for moments of deep devotion with God, So because in doing fasting, especially I try to do intense fast when I'm mostly on vacation. Maybe I'm not going to work because of my nature of work, it requires a lot of mental energy. And for people who maybe their work requires a lot of physical efforts, we do not usually recommend that they embark on intense, kind of fast, But generally speaking, when fasting, you need to, create that atmosphere of personal devotion with God so that you avoid distractions as much as possible.
Okay. So we have people who also fast the wrong way in a sense. So what are some common mistakes that people make when fasting, and what are those things that they should do in order to enhance their fasting? Because I mean, the spirit is willing, but then sometimes the flesh can be weak?
Yes. So common mistakes could be not drinking enough water, not having a plan. So as Greg mentioned, the days, the timing, you may not have a plan where you know what you're going to break your fast with, which now means anything that comes across your way, or you see a snack here or there, you may take it. So avoiding things like processed foods, because then that can also cause like a detrimental effect to the body where you're not having enough energy, not having enough cognitive focus. So just making sure you have a plan and know exactly what you're doing on this fast, including drinking your water to keep hydrated.
Okay, thank you. So what spiritual practices can help someone who's struggling with fasting? It's like they're doing you from your village. Anytime you want to fast, that's when hunger would be striking. So how can a person spiritually be prepared for fasting?
Okay, so in preparing for fast, first of all, I like to recommend that, you eat. Maybe this is not like a fast, but as a way of like building that discipline. So you eat when only you are hungry. So you don't just want to eat anytime. You eat when your body begins to feel that need for food. So it's a way of building the sense of discipline. So when you are consistent with that over time, so by the time you are actually ready to fast, it becomes very easy for you. So that discipline is necessary, that you are able to eat only when your body begins to feel the need. And then secondly, there are, what I call the watches of the day. It's important that we understand the watches of the day. The church, I think we call it divine office. So if, for instance, in a day you have mapped out, okay, you want to fast for 6 hours, or 6 hours from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. So by 12 noon, you have completed like 2 watches already. And that's why, at each watch, for example, 12 noon. So I think the question should now be, why do the church, like to say certain prayers at specific times of the day?
Okay, hold that thought. Okay. Hold that thought. We need to go on our Know Your Faith session. We have Elefachi on standby. She's waiting for us. She's about to flog me. But yeah, over to you, Elefachi.
Hey you. Yes, dear upcoming I'll be performing Judas Iscariot. I'm just joking. I didn't mean it. Child of God, welcome to Know Your Faith series. I am Amaka Ozo. Here are 5 ways you may be betraying Jesus without knowing it. The first, neglecting prayer and spiritual life. Failing to maintain a consistent prayer life and neglecting spiritual disciplines like reading scriptures, attending and participating in mass. Just as poor communication in a relationship leads to estrangement, neglecting time with Jesus can distance us from Him. You will feel spiritually dry, disconnected, and repeatedly make poor decisions without seeking divine guidance. We need to develop regular spiritual practices to maintain a deeper relationship with Jesus. 2. Living hypocritically. I sabi you. Be preaching what you did not do. Hypocrisy means to profess faith in Jesus while living in a way that contradicts His teaching, such as being dishonest, unkind, or judgmental. Hypocrisy undermines the witness of faith and can lead others astray. Acting differently in private than in public. Justifying actions that are contrary to Christian values. These are extreme practices. You need to examine yourself and your action. Strive for integrity and consistency between your beliefs and actions. 3. Ignoring the needs of others. This includes failing to show compassion and help to those in need, including the poor, the sick, and the marginalized. Jesus emphasized love and service to others, stating what we do for the least of these, we do for Him. Matthew 25 verse 40. Being indifferent, especially indifference to suffering, not volunteering or contributing to charitable causes, avoiding opportunities to help are not good Christian traits. Consciously seek opportunities to assist, not in order to show off, but to serve and care for others, reflecting God's love and compassion. 4. Allowing worldly values to influence decisions. This involves prioritizing materialism, status, or personal gain over spiritual and ethical considerations. Jesus taught us about dangers of wealth and importance of storing up treasures in heaven rather than on earth. Matthew 6:19-21. Making decisions should not be based primarily on personal benefit, striving for social approval, and compromising on values for personal advancement. You need to evaluate decisions based on spiritual values and long-term impact on your faith's journey. 5. Harboring unforgiveness, Madam Malice. Keeping cooler to serve later. Continue. Holding on to grudges, bitterness, or anger against others is contrary to Jesus' teaching on forgiveness. Jesus forgave those who betrayed and crucified him, setting an example of unconditional forgiveness. Luke 23:34. Reluctance to forgive past wrongs, ongoing resentment, difficulty in reconciling with others are all evidence that you need to pray more and seek God's grace. You can practice forgiveness as a reflection of God's grace, freeing yourself and others from the burden of unforgiveness. So guys, it is not by showing yourself or mini holiest that you stand afloat as a Christian. Let your actions do the talking. Don't be a broadcaster or escalator to trash other person's faith if you don't understand it. Show, share, and be your faith through your words, actions, and thoughts. Subscribe to Dominican Media, share this video to your friends and encourage them to comment and share as well. I am Amaka Ozo, and until next time, be bold, be Catholic.
Thank you very much, Elefachi, for the Know Your Faith session. Okay, Greg, before the break, we're talking about the spiritual practices that can help a person during fasting. So do you want to land on that?
Okay, so as I said, it's important that we understand certain timings of the day, 12 noon, 3 p.m., 6 p.m. All of those timings, they have significance. It's why we say Angelus 12 noon, we say Angelus 6. So by the time maybe you are fasting 6 a.m. to 12 noon, you have completed 2 watches. And for me, that's a lot. If you're able to maximize it, to say that, okay, within 6 a.m. to 12 noon, I want to, even as I fast, I want to also have 30 minutes, intercession and so on and so forth. So that's on one side. And finally, have a body or a spiritual director, someone who could just guide you through health-wise, spiritual-wise, so that you are properly led.
Okay. Now, some people may feel guilty when they're not able to complete their fast. What advice would you give to them?
Feeling guilty. I would say to slowly and gradually move into the fast. That, okay, if you break your fast, you have the next day to make up and start over again. I think also once someone plans, then they're able to better execute. So if you're planning going to the market, just making sure that things are balanced so that when you do embark on your fast, you can do it successfully.
True. How about you? Do you have anything to add?
Okay, so in going on a fast, it's important that you understand your body. In understanding your body, you want to be sure that, for example, just from the health standpoint now, people suffer from ulcer as a result of fast. So if you are an ulcer prone person, you don't want to, embark on certain kind of fast. So you understand your body, you understand your kind of work, right? So what's your kind of work? Can your work actually distract you from the fast? Because fasting is a spiritual activity. So if you are engaged in a lot of activities, you might be tempted to, prematurely break the fast even when you did not intend to. So that's, for me, ways of
Okay, so to sum it up, it's about planning, and even when you fail, you continue the next day. All right, so any final tips for those who are struggling with fasting? We've learned a lot on this episode. We know that we have to plan. We know that we can even drink water at some point, and then there are different types of fasting that you can engage in. So any final words for those out there who may be struggling with fasting? Who wants to go first? Ladies first.
I think when you're fasting, have that plan where you put it on your mirror so you see it every day. So that brings you to that accountability that I'm fasting for this reason, for these hours. And certainly if you have any ailments, go and see your doctor before embarking on the fast.
Okay, nice.
Okay, so fasting is a means, is not an end. And if by any means you get stuck or you have any challenge fasting, I think you just fix your gaze on God. That can help you to overcome your challenge.
Bravo, thank you very much. So there you have it. If you're finding it hard to fast, I hope that you've gotten some tips that can help you enhance your fasting. Remember to always have a purpose. Don't just go into it because your friends are doing it. You must have a purpose. There must be an intention, and you should back it up with prayers and almsgiving. Also, on the health point, you need to prepare yourself. You need to eat well the days before, and then drink water while you fast. You should also know the kind of fast that you want to engage in. Is it 1 meal a day? Is it the intermittent fasting? Is it the dry fasting? Whichever one it is, ensure that you have a plan, you are prepared, and even when you stumble, remember that you always have another chance. So go ahead, go at it, and do not relent. I wish you good luck as you try to build a stronger relationship with God, because ultimately, if you're fasting, that should be your purpose. It's been amazing discussing with you today. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate such an enlightening conversation, I must say. If you have any comments, any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section of our YouTube channel at Dominican Media. I remain Marianne Ushi. You can catch me on Instagram at _Marianne Ushi. While at it, CFF is on Instagram at CFF on TV. Until next time, keep being saints in jeans and shirts. Bye.